The Young and the Restless spoilers. The air in Genoa City was thick with anticipation as word spread that Nikki Newman's milestone birthday celebration would be far more than a conventional soiree. It promised to be the stage for a stunning revelation. From the moment the invitations went out, printed on heavy ivory stock and embossed with the Newman crest, whispers of intrigue rippled through the town's social circles. Everyone knew that the Young and the Restless thrived on transforming festive gatherings into crucibles of drama. And this would be no exception. At the heart of the speculation was an enigmatic figure whose name had been murmured in hushed tones for weeks, Aristotle Dumas. A powerful, elusive businessman whose influence reportedly extended from the boardrooms of Newman Enterprises to the clandestine corridors of Genoa City's underbelly, Dumas had never appeared on screen. Instead, he existed as a shadowy legend, an unseen force whose motives and methods were fiercely debated by those in the know. Few had glimpsed him, and fewer still claimed to understand his true agenda. Now, it seemed that Dumas intended to make his presence known, and the prime messenger of his cryptic machinations appeared poised to be none other than Amanda Sinclair. Amanda, with her poised elegance and unshakable loyalty to her closest friend Phyllis, had long been a fixture at Newman affairs. Yet behind her polished exterior lay both shrewd ambition and deep-seated compassion, qualities that made her the perfect intermediary for the mercurial Dumas. While she and Phyllis Summers shared confidences that spanned years of friendship, Amanda's connection to Dumas was a matter of conjecture. Some speculated that she had encountered him through philanthropic ventures aimed at revitalizing Genoa City's struggling neighborhoods. Others whispered of a covert alliance forged in the fires of business necessity. At any rate, Amanda's role as potential envoy gave rise to two burning questions: what message would Dumas deliver? And why choose the opulent backdrop of Nikki Newman's birthday as his debut? The Newmans, ever the architects of spectacle, had arranged a meticulously planned evening. The grand ballroom at the Newman Ranch was draped in cascading swaths of ivory and gold, with crystal chandeliers refracting light like glittering stars overhead. An orchestra prepared to play classical overtures before segueing into contemporary favorites, and waiters in crisp tuxedos stood ready with champagne flutes. Every guest, from corporate magnates to local dignitaries, was instructed to don formal attire, ensuring the photograph that would accompany any televised segment would radiate glamour. Yet beneath the grandeur lurked trepidation, for Victor Newman, known for his unbending will and relentless pursuit of power, this gathering represented both opportunity and vulnerability. If Dumas's message was aimed at him, and if Nikki trusted Amanda to convey it, the balance of power in Genoa City could shift in an instant. Preparations on the estate grounds hinted at more than just birthday revelry. Under the pretense of setting up floral installations and a VIP reception lounge, a discreet team of Dumas's operatives worked behind the scenes, securing vantage points and coordinating communications. Rumor had it that a private signal, a particular phrase, a single emblem embroidered on Amanda's gown, or perhaps an unassuming slip of paper, would trigger the delivery of the message at the precise moment Nikki raised her glass for a toast. Some guests joked that it might be as simple as Amanda pausing mid-sentence and allowing the crowd to hang on her every word. Others feared a more dramatic reveal, such as a projected image or a live feed designed to stun the assembled elite. Meanwhile, Victor paced in his office late into the night, reviewing guest lists and worrying over the unknown. Without Michael to serve as his moderating influence, without the voice of reason that had previously curtailed his worst impulses, Victor's anxiety grew palpable. He knew Dumas represented a threat not easily dismissed, and that allowing Amanda alone to interact with this unseen tycoon was a gamble fraught with peril. As the big night approached, Phyllis Summers found herself torn. On one hand, she cherished Amanda's friendship and admired her discretion. On the other, she suspected that some of Amanda's deepest loyalties lay elsewhere. In a quiet moment before the festivities, Phyllis cornered her friend in the powder-blue drawing room, the air scented with gardenias. "Amanda," she whispered, "if Dumas is behind this, I need to know, what is he after?" Is it Victor? Is it Newman Enterprises? Or are there deeper currents I haven't considered? Amanda's response was measured. She acknowledged her acquaintance with Dumas, alluded to shared concerns about the direction the city was taking, and insisted that the message would be for the good of us all. Phyllis, whose instincts had saved her from much greater dangers in the past, felt the hairs on her arms stand on end. She pressed further. But Amanda simply placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder and promised clarity once the reveal had occurred. In that moment, Phyllis realized she was standing on the cusp of a pivotal juncture in Genoa city history, one where alliances would be forged or shattered, and where the true face of Aristotle Dumas would finally emerge from the shadows. When the evening's crescendo arrived, Nikki rising from her throne-like chair to address her gathered friends, the room fell into an expectant hush. Glasses were raised, and Nikki began a heartfelt speech about family, friendship, and the enduring spirit of the Newman legacy. Then, almost imperceptibly, Amanda stepped forward. The lighting shifted, drawing a soft spotlight to her figure. She offered her congratulations to Nikki, her voice steady yet carrying an undercurrent of something more significant. As she spoke, a hush fell over the room, punctuated only by the soft rustle of gowns and the clink of cutlery paused midair. Guests strained to hear her final words. Tonight, we celebrate not just a birthday, but a new chapter, one that requires us all to heed the call for change. In that charged moment, a hush spread across the ballroom, followed by a ripple of shock as Amanda withdrew a small envelope sealed with a wax emblem none could immediately recognize. All eyes turned to her, and then to the envelope, and whispers exploded like wildfire. Dumas had made his move, using the vessel of Amanda Sinclair to deliver a message that would upend loyalties, ignite corporate intrigue, and challenge the very foundation of the Newman dynasty. The question on everyone's lips was not merely what the message contained, but who would rise to answer its demands, and at what cost to the city they all called home. Victor Newman's enemies have always whispered about the day when his unstoppable empire might finally crack. But no one ever imagined that the threat would come in the form of a mythical figure named Aristotle Dumas. Rumors in Genoa City have swirled for months. Dumas, the phantom protector of Winters Incorporated, quietly gathering power in the shadows, his motives inscrutable, his identity hidden behind veils of speculation. He has never met face-to-face with Victor Newman. Yet his influence reaches deep into the corridors of both Winston Manor and the Newman Ranch. The consensus among the city's elite is that Dumas cares about little beyond two things: safeguarding the Winters family's business interests, and wresting control of Chancellor Winters away from Victor's iron grip. Phyllis Summers, who has tried fruitlessly to unmask him, is not the one who will draw him out. She is too wrapped up in her own schemes to see beyond her circle. Instead, insiders believe the message he will deliver on Friday, May 30th, at Nikki Newman's opulent birthday gala, will come riding on the composure of Amanda Sinclair. Ever the loyal confidant to Phyllis, Amanda has shown herself to be discreet, resolute, and possessed of an uncanny knack for reading a room. She alone among Nikki's circle has the combination of social grace and steely resolve that Dumas demands for his envoy. As the grand ballroom of the Newman Ranch is trimmed in ivory and gold and the town's most influential figures filter through the gilded doors, Amanda will step forward not as a mere guest but as the voice of a sleeping giant. No one expects Aristotle Dumas himself to stride into the spotlight. He remains hidden, lurking in backroom alliances, forging partnerships with lawyers, financiers, and power brokers who share his single-minded devotion to preserving Winters Inc. and wresting Chancellor Winters from Victor's clutches. Yet all agree that Friday's announcement will be the harbinger of seismic change, one that will leave both Newman Enterprises and the Chancellor Winters legacy permanently altered. Throughout Genoa City, theories abound as to the true identity of Aristotle Dumas. Some wager on Cain Ashby, the oft-misunderstood son of company men, whose charming exterior masks a calculating mind. Kane's ties to the Chancellor family and his own thirst for redemption would certainly explain his protective stance toward Winters Incorporated. Others point to Tucker McCall, the prodigal billionaire whose shadowy return to town last season sent ripples through every boardroom. Tucker's ruthless business acumen and storied vendetta against Victor would make him a fitting candidate for Dumas's cloak, and indeed, Tucker has been seen in late-night strategy sessions with some of Dumas's suspected lieutenants. Both theories carry weight, for Dumas professes a desire to protect Winters Inc. And what better way to do so than to install an insider with both the pedigree and the will to challenge Victor at his own game? Yet neither Kane nor Tucker has stepped forward to claim the mantle. And Dumas himself remains frustratingly silent. This Friday, at Nikki's celebration, the silence will shatter. Guests have been instructed to wear their finest black tie attire. And whispers suggest that Amanda will be the one to shatter their complacency. During Nikki's toast, an address expected to celebrate family, legacy, and the future of Newman Enterprises, Amanda will intervene with an unexpected proclamation. She will speak of a friend who watches from the shadows, whose sole purpose is to preserve the integrity of Winters Incorporated and to ensure that Victor Newman cannot politic his way into seizing Chancellor Winters' resources for his own vendettas. Her words will be measured, her tone respectful yet unyielding, and in her hand she will hold a sealed communiqué, a letter signed with the wax emblem of Aristotle Dumas himself. The ballroom will hush as she reads the message aloud. It will begin with courtesy, thanks for Nikki's generosity, praise for the spirit of unity that has defined the Newman name. But the tide will turn when she states that Dumas can no longer remain silent while Victor exploits family ties for personal vengeance. She will reveal that on the morrow, legal action will commence to place Chancellor Winters under temporary independent management, citing breaches of fiduciary duty and undue influence. She will warn Victor that if he does not step back from his campaign against the Abbotts and allow Winters Incorporated to operate free of Newman interference, Dumas's forces, from boardroom appointments to shareholders' votes, will oppose him at every turn. When Amanda finishes, the hush will break into stunned murmurs that swell into outright exclamations. Victor, caught off guard even by his own daughter Victoria's earlier ultimatum, will show the first flicker of doubt in months. Nikki's face will pale as she realizes the depth of the threat. Phyllis, though excluded from direct involvement, will watch Amanda with a mixture of envy and regret, yearning to have been the bearer of such gravitas. And in the shadows, figures loyal to both Kane and Tucker will exchange meaningful glances, their speculation now armed with a tangible target, a sealed directive that names Aristotle Dumas's plan in explicit terms. By the time the gala concludes, alliances will have shifted overnight. Business cards will be exchanged not in social pleasantries but in veiled power plays. The Abbotts will confer with their legal team, strategizing how to leverage Dumas's intervention to regain some footing against Victor's onslaught. Meanwhile, whispers of who Dumas truly is will harden into two names, Kane Ashby and Tucker McCall, as the most likely suspects. But for now, the man himself remains a phantom, his message delivered, his intentions laid bare, and his presence felt more acutely than any physical appearance ever could. In the days that follow, Genoa City will feel the tremors of that single announcement. Victor's next move will reverberate through every corner of Newman Enterprises. Will he capitulate to preserve family unity? Or will he challenge Dumas head-on and risk igniting a corporate war that could devastate both Newman and Chancellor Holdings? One thing is certain. Friday's birthday gala will be remembered not just as a celebration of Nikki's life, but as the moment when Aristotle Dumas emerged from legend to become Victor Newman's most formidable adversary, an unseen force whose loyalty to the Winters legacy is matched only by his determination to bring the Newman Empire to heel. And as Genoa City holds its collective breath, the question on everyone's lips will be the same: who will ultimately prevail in this battle of wills? And at what cost to the families caught in its crossfire? Victor Newman's empire has trembled under threats before: hostile takeovers, courtroom battles, even betrayals from within his own bloodline, but never has he faced a challenger as enigmatic or as deeply intertwined with Genoa City's power structure as Aristotle Dumas. 4 months. The name Dumas has floated like a ghost, capturing imaginations and fueling rumors in equal measure. Yet Saturday's revelation at Nikki Newman's glittering birthday gala did not fully satisfy the city's thirst for answers. Instead, it only sharpened the mysteries surrounding the man behind the whisper campaigns. In the days since the soirée, speculation has coalesced around two prime suspects, Cain Ashby and Tucker McCall, each bearing a credible motive to become the secretive protector of Winters Inc. and the avenger of Lily Winters' legacy. Tucker McCall, the prodigal scion of the McCall fortune, has long borne a grievance against Victor and, by extension, any ally he might conscript. When Victor and Audra Charles successfully wrested control of the luxury skincare line Glissade right out from under Tucker's nose, the slight was not merely financial, it was a personal wound. A declaration that Victor's ambitions would brook no rival. Every fiber of Tucker's being recoils at Victor's brand of corporate ruthlessness. As Devin Winters' father, Tucker has watched his daughter and Lily's former co-guardian struggle to maintain the integrity of Winters Incorporated in the face of Newman machinations. His fury at the audacity of Victor's latest maneuver, coupled with his own need to rebuild a fractured relationship with Devin, would make Tucker the perfect candidate to adopt the mantle of Aristotle Dumas. The unseen force promising to safeguard Winters Incorporated from further predation. Yet Cain Ashby's claim to the Dumas identity is equally compelling. Cain departed Genoa City 6 years ago under a cloud of personal turmoil, leaving behind a reputation for charm and a loyalty to family that few could question. His abrupt exit coincided precisely with the first whispers of Aristotle Dumas's activities, boardroom interventions, strategic investments designed to keep Chancellor Winters afloat. Rumors of a safety net woven by an anonymous benefactor. Upon his return to town, a leaner, more focused Cain might well have harnessed the Dumas mystique as a means to protect Lily Winters, for whom he has always shown unfaltering devotion. In that scenario, Amarillo Sinclair's role as Dumas's mouthpiece would be explained by her closeness to Phyllis Summers, Phyllis who, despite being Cain's cousin, has never fully trusted Victor and would naturally welcome a guardian angel for her daughter's company. The divergence in motive, Tucker's personal vendetta against Victor versus Cain's protective instinct for Lily, creates a rift in the Genoa City grapevine, with each camp marshalling evidence in support of their theory. Tucker's backers point to his proven ruthlessness, his capacity to play the long game, and the unmistakable parallel between his public persona as a billionaire dealmaker and Dumas's hidden prowess behind the scenes. They recall Tucker's return last season in a sleek black suit, his every move a study in controlled aggression, and his offhand remarks in boardroom huddles that often betrayed knowledge of internal Newman strategies far beyond any outsider's grasp. They argue that only a man of Tucker's resources and singular focus could marshal the complex network of lawyers, accountants, and silent shareholders necessary to mount a covert defense of Winters Incorporated, let alone threaten to derail Victor's takeover plans for Chancellor Winters. On the other side, Cain's devotees underscore his gymnastics of timing and character development. They note that Cain's heart has always belonged to Lily Winters, a woman whose business acumen and philanthropic vision captured his loyalty long before Victor ever cast his cold eye on Chancellor Winters' assets. Cain's emotional journey, from the young man who fell for Lily's steely kindness to the self-exiled wanderer who returned with a renewed sense of purpose, mirrors the arc of Aristotle Dumas's symbolic emergence. A silent guardian who appears when the need is greatest, enforcing justice without ever seeking personal glory. In this telling, Cain's absence from public view, his refusal to attend the Newman Gala in person, and his choice to channel influence through Amanda Sinclair is a masterstroke of diversion, allowing the real Cain to operate from the shadows while Dumas's legend grows. Further complicating the conjecture is the involvement of Amanda Sinclair herself, whose social grace and steadfast loyalty to Phyllis Summers have made her the ideal intermediary. Whether delivering Tucker's ultimatum or Kane's warning, Amanda's delivery carries equal weight. Her measured poise, the cryptic wax seal of Dumas emblazoned on the confidential communiqué she offered Nikki, and the abrupt hush that fell over the assembled guests when she spoke, all of these elements speak to meticulous planning and psychological acumen. Only a handful of individuals in Genoa City possess both the social standing to command an audience at a Newman event and access to the inner sanctums of Winters Incorporated management. Amanda checks both boxes, whether she acts on Tucker's behalf, leveraging her ties to Phyllis as cover for a corporate power play, or for Kane, funneling a personal plea into a public declaration. Amid the swirling theories, one fact stands unchallenged: Aristotle Dumas has struck a chord that transcends mere business rivalry. His messages resonate not as cold corporate memos but as a call to higher purpose, an impassioned defense of a company built not for shareholder profit but to uplift communities. That noble undercurrent has rallied support among Chancellor-wary executives, disenfranchised shareholders, and even members of the Abbott's inner circle who view a balance of power as beneficial for Genoa City's future. There is talk of board meetings called under emergency protocols, proxies being circulated, and legal injunctions filed in secret.